Hello and welcome or welcome back to the Import-Export Hub channel, everybody. Bogdan here, your host for the next couple of minutes. Thanks for joining in. I hope that you are all doing great. And guys, without asking you to hit those small buttons below this video, allow me to present you in the next couple of minutes 5 products that are worth exporting towards Thailand. Not before thanking to my one-of-a-kind and famous crystal ball for helping me find these products. And now, joke aside, guys, let's get down to business here. My first recommendation comes from heading 7204. So we're talking here about ferrous waste and scrap, as Thailand is a big importer and processor as well, with $675.3 million worth of imports for 2021, some $263 million more than in 2020. With the United States here, Australia, and Myanmar as the biggest trading partners, which were followed by others like, Panama, Japan, or Venezuela, to name just a few from this top 10 list. In what concerns the year-on-year changes, we have an increase of almost 64%, with the biggest absolute positive changes coming from Australia and Myanmar, both with figures above the $40 million mark. But personally, I see good performances coming also from, Panama, Trinidad and Tobago, or Japan. All three with figures above the $20 million mark. I think that Southeast Asia is going to increase its demand for ferrous waste and scrap. It's positively correlated with ramping up of industrial activities there. So again, if you're working in this kind of industry, you should definitely consider Thailand and other Southeast Asian countries as an export destination. As for the main drivers here, waste and scrap of iron and steel drove most of Thailand's imports from both the United States and Japan. Moving now to my second recommendation, we have here heading 0808, apples, pears, and quinces, all fresh. And we have here a nice upward trend from 2019 onwards. And basically we see that in 2021, Thailand's imports amounted to some $345 million, with China here, New Zealand, and the United States as the main partners, which were followed by others like Japan, Italy, or Turkey. Even though, let's face it, in terms of value, they don't come close to those of China, which has a big advantage here given the close proximity to Thailand. And we see that it has some 82% share from this chapter. It is huge if you ask me, but again, this doesn't mean that there is not room for others. In what concerns the year-on-year changes here, we have 8% positive change in relative terms, which translates into $26 million in absolute ones, with only 3 countries from this top 10 list registering contractions, so New Zealand, the United States, and France, while the rest of them had positive changes, the largest one being in relation with China here, who exported with $31 million more than it did in 2020. As for the main drivers here, well, for both China and the US, fresh apples drove most of the exports towards Thailand. So guys, if you're working in the fresh apple export business, consider Thailand as a very, very good destination, especially if you have affordable prices, as Thailand is a price-sensitive market. Jumping now to my third recommendation here, we have heading 4101, so raw hides and skins of bovine or equine animals, as Thailand still is a relatively big exporter of footwear that includes leather in the manufacturing process, and we see here that in 2021 the overall imports amounted to some $70 million, with the United States, Australia, and Canada as the main partners, followed by others like Argentina or Spain, to name just a couple. While in terms of year-on-year changes, the imports were up almost 83% in relative terms, some $32 million in absolute ones, with almost all the top 10 partners registering positive changes, except Brazil, who had a small 4% contraction. While on the other side, the United States registered the biggest absolute change of almost $17 million. But I see that also Canada had a nice figure in 2021 with some $5 million more exports towards Thailand relative to 2020. Now, in what concerns the main drivers here, unfortunately, this is not a complex heading, guys. So for both the United States and Australia here, we have the same one. And we're talking about whole raw hides and skins of bovine or equine animals. So we're talking about subheading 410150. Jumping now to my fourth recommendation, we have here heading 3808, insecticides, fungicides and the like, and we see that in 2021, Thailand's imports from this heading amounted to some $885 million. It's a big industry if you ask me, with China here, India and Indonesia as the main partners, which were followed by others like, I don't know, Malaysia, Germany or France. But clearly with, 52% share in Thailand's imports from this heading, China is dominating and somehow dwarfing the rest of them. While in terms of year-on-year changes, we have 36% positive change overall, again, thanks to the strong positive changes and figures coming from China and India, somehow indicating again a price-sensitive market in Thailand, while, niche and highly specialized products and consequently more expensive products coming from, South Korea, Japan, France or Israel didn't perform very well. In what concerns the main drivers here, from China, we have herbicides put up in forms or packings for retail sale, while from India we have insecticides again put up in forms or packings for retail sale. So subheading 380891. And guys, with this fourth product being covered as well, I will now move to my fifth and last recommendation for you, which is coming from heading 1302. So vegetable saps and extracts with a clearly upward trend if we look at this 2017-2021 time frame. And basically we see that in 2021, Thailand's imports from this heading amounted to $146 million. With China, Brazil, and Spain as the main partners, followed by others like, the United Kingdom, Denmark, or Mexico, again, to name just a couple from this top 10 list. China again dominates the imports from this heading as it has almost 31% share. But I see that also Spain is gaining some momentum, if you want, practically increasing its exports almost fivefold in just 5 years, from $2.5 million in 2017 to almost $11 million in 2021, which is a good figure. While in terms of year-on-year changes, we have 20% positive change overall in relative terms and $24 million in absolute ones, with only two countries registering contractions, if you know, Brazil and Denmark, with 3.1 and almost 8% respectively. But in absolute terms, let's face it, it's peanuts really, as cumulatively it's less than $1 million. As for the main drivers here, well, from China we have subheading 130231, agar-agar, whether or not modified, while from Mexico we have pectic substances, so we're talking about heading 130220. And guys, with this last recommendation being covered as well, these were the 5 products that I've recommending you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit whatever button you like. Don't be shy and comment as well. And as usual, until next time, keep your business safe. Thanks.